Today, let's look at the pros and cons of self-managing your investment property. Hi, my name is Tony Law from Your First Four Houses, and I teach people how to build a small property portfolio that generates a great income for them so they can give up the day job if they wish, because they're now financially free. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. So today I want to talk about the pros and cons of self-managing your investment property or properties, and this is going to be particularly relevant if you're just starting out in property. So let's kick things straight off with the pros first of all. And the first one you're probably already thinking about, and that's the fact that there's the potential for more profit, because if you're not having to pay out all those fees, aren't you going to make more profit? Well, the truth is yes, sometimes you can of course make more profit if you maximise the rents and minimise the voids. The next thing I always like to focus on is prioritising. Let me ask you a question. If a letting agent has, say, 50 rooms that they need to get filled and maybe a similar number of houses, are they actually going to prioritise on you getting your room or your house filled with the right tenant? And this might be particularly important to consider if that letting agent actually has their own HMOs or their own service accommodation or their own single let properties. Are they going to prioritise you? I would suggest that if you're self-managing, well, of course you're going to prioritise yourself. One of the important things to do here is if you are using an agent, make sure you pay them well. Don't necessarily try to beat them down on commission, because if you're paying them X amount and somebody else is paying them considerably more, aren't they going to want to put people in that property over there? I think if you're self-managing, you also have greater control. You get the ability to choose the right tenants for your HMO, assuming you're going down the HMO route. Tenants that will mesh in really well with the other tenants in the property. Will a letting agent have the same level of care? I'm not always convinced. You can also shop around for suppliers as well, suppliers of the various services, utilities and other bits and pieces that are associated with the property. You also have closer contact with the tenants if you self-manage. Now that means that you can pretty much guarantee they're going to stay longer in that property, because you can jump on any problems as and when they immediately arise. And you can make sure that that tenant is really cared for. And you can sort of, if there are any issues in the house, again, you can jump on them really quickly. And as a result, extend the lifespan of that tenancy. I personally think there's some real job self-satisfaction to managing your own property. Now, I appreciate that's if this floats your boat, because it really isn't for everybody. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, I would love it if you could just click on that thumbs up button down there. It really helps me if that's okay. Now let's have a quick look at the cons. Well, I have to say, first of all, this is far more hands-on. So this really does have to be something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy this, don't do it. Absolutely go and manage an agent, or rather pay an agent to manage this property for you. On this note, if you're not a big fan of tenants, then this really isn't for you. Now personally, I really enjoy interacting with the tenants, making sure that they're happy. It's just something that I really enjoy doing. And so for me, that isn't a chore. But for some people, the idea of interacting with the tenants at any level, well, that really isn't for them. So of course, in that case, you're definitely going to be using an agent. Time is obviously a big issue here, isn't it? Especially if you're running HMOs or serviced accommodation, I would say, in particular. You've got to consider advertising, viewings, referencing. This is very much a hands-on business if you don't have systems in place. Systems is everything. Of course, there's legislation that you need to keep up to date with. I don't personally think it's that difficult to keep up to date with the latest legislation, but you do need to make sure that you focus some time each month to making sure that you read the latest publications. Also, if you're not already a member of the National Landlord Association, the NLA or the RLA, please go and join up with one of those. My personal preference is the NLA, but maybe I'm biased there. I know some property investors are members of both, but either way, that is a great source of reliable information. Maintenance obviously has to be considered if you're self-managing. Now, I don't personally do any of the work in any of my properties anymore. I used to, but I don't do any of it now. But you have to actually liaise with the correct tradesperson to get that toilet unblocked or whatever is required. But you yourself are actually going to be handling that. I guess one of the pros of that is it means that you can choose the right person who's not going to overcharge you, maybe, if you're self-managing. But either way, I would consider this a con because you do have to be on top of the maintenance. Holidays can be an issue. If you're away for 2 weeks, who's going to actually help that tenant if they have a particular problem? I really emphasise to people that they need what used to be called an odd job man or woman, available on hand, can go out, that can help that person, that can carry out any small little tasks that need to be done. I also think it's really important to give somebody that you trust either your direct mobile phone that's relevant to that property, or get the calls diverted to somebody. I would suggest people buy a pay-as-you-go mobile, and you can divert the calls to that, and you can give that pay-as-you-go mobile to anybody actually, and they can then manage any issues that they have. Because do you know what? You don't want to be hearing about a blocked toilet at 2 o'clock in the morning if you're away in some sunny climate. And so what I would suggest you do if you're just starting out is to self-manage your first property. Honestly, I think that you will learn so much by self-managing property number one. The key to self-managing is having great systems, and in my online property masterclass I share all the systems that work for me. To find out if this course will benefit you, why not book a 10-minute call with me by clicking on the link here.